So now I'm going to show you the extra credit, which is the list of drawings. Now, part of this is fairly easy, and part of it gets tricky. Well, what's the easy part? Well, if we want to create a drawing list, what do you think, which of our ribbon tabs would you guess it would be on?
Annotated.
Let's see, that's a good guess. Not annotate.
Okay, then column.
What is it closest to that we've made so far? It's like a schedule. And schedules are under where? View. So let's look under schedules, and sure enough, there's a separate button for sheet list. That's what it calls it. View list would generate just a printout that you could put, a list that you could put on a sheet that says, here are my views, like my floor plan views. So we want to do sheet list. Now this looks just like the room finish schedule, same kind of concept here. So the first thing we want is the sheet number. So I'm going to add that, and then I want to add the sheet name. And that's really all I need right now. So if I say OK, there's my sheet number and sheet name. But I've got a couple of sheets that I don't want to see, because those were the ones I put in there from the beginning, those existing sheets. So how would we go about removing those?
Get the appearance button of the.
Okay. Not on that one.
Field.
Okay. You got the right idea. Let me.
Sort and grouping, sorry. Sort and grouping.
Sorting and grouping. Yeah, this is tricky. There's a trick to this one, and that is each sheet has a little property to it. So if I highlight sheet A100X on the list, now these are the properties of that sheet. If I scroll down, there's a checkbox that says appears in sheet list. So if you just uncheck that checkbox, that sheet is gone from the list. It's just a little feature they gave us so that we didn't have to have all our sheets show up in the sheet list. So then I can go to A101X, and I'm just highlighting it on the browser. I could pull it up here and say, oh, there's the sheet I don't want. That's not the right one. This sheet right here I don't want. So I can look in its view properties and uncheck appears in sheet list there. If I go back to my sheet list now, it's gone. So now I've got just the sheets I want. Now I'm going to change the title of this to list of drawings. Now I don't want the title, that's the headers that say sheet number and sheet name, so how would I remove those? Let's try formatting. Nope, let's try appearance. Show title, yes. Show headers, no. Now let's go back to our cover sheet, and let's drag and drop this sheet list, or list of drawings as I renamed it, onto the sheet. So now this is the pretty view. I want to make it wide enough so that each sheet name has room to fit. And now I want the title to be bigger. So if I go back and edit the ugly view again, I can go into Appearance, Show Title, Header Text. The title and headers are always the same size, so I want this to be probably 5/16 and make it bold, and let's see how that looks. And again, you have to go to the sheet to see how it looks. And it might be a little big, but I'm going to stick with it for now. Then I'm going to go back. Too many views open here. And I want to make my text bigger in each row, so I go to Appearance, Body Text. Let's bump that up from 1/8 to 3/16, because I've got all the room in the world on this sheet. Might as well make them a little bigger. Okay, so we're most of the way there. Now I want to add an outline, so I check that and I say very wide lines, like we did on our door schedule earlier tonight. That looks good. And now, how do I go about sorting them in the order of the discipline? Because most of us who are architects typically put our demolition plans first, then our architectural plans, but then the cover sheet would probably go before everything, and that's not alphabetically how it wants to sort. And right now they're not sorting by anything. So if I edit the schedule and I go into sorting and grouping, I could say sort by sheet number, but that's not going to do it, because then I alphabetically have the D's and the G's at the end. So what I have to do is I have to kind of add an extra column that I just type in a value to sort by. It's kind of cheating, but it works. So I go into Fields, I add a parameter, and I call it discipline sort number. words, I'm going to add a number for the G that's going to be first, the D's will be second, and the A's will be third. And I want the type of parameter to be an integer. And I want to group it under identity data. So this is a new parameter I'm creating. And I'm going to move it up to the top of the list. So now on the G's I put a 1 there. There's only one of them. On the D I put a 2. And on all the A's I put 3. Now I go back to sorting and grouping, and I say I want to sort by this new discipline sort number and then sort by the sheet number. So now everything is in the right order. But I'd also like to have a gap after the G and after the D between each discipline. So, a little tricky. How would I go about doing that?
Formatting.
What's that?
Formatting.
Formatting. That would be more like what units and how does it look like. So let's go back to sorting and grouping. Now, when you sort by the discipline sort number, notice there's a checkbox that says blank line. That means after each number finishes, you get a blank line. There we go. Now, we don't want to see this column in here, so we can just right-click and hide it. It has to be in the schedule to be able to sort by it, but it doesn't have to be visible. It can be hidden like that. So now if I go back to my sheet, I've got what I want. And that is that. And in the handout, I didn't have that blank line before data. If you want to turn that off, you go into Appearance, and you just uncheck this blank row before data, and it takes that first row out. And there we go. I'm going to save that. So now the last thing to talk about is the A901 sheet, which you'll get some credit if you just put perspective on it. You'll get more credit if you render it and put the rendering on it. So let's go through both scenarios. So let me just save this recording, and I'll do one last recording. Drawing list recording.